Morning. It's cold, but it's not raining today. I wanted to do some shots of clearing the rows. So this will be a way for me to show you how, if you're starting with just your yard or starting with a field that hasn't really been remediated or tilled at all, this is just grass grass and turf and native plants. If that's what you're starting with, it's fine. You can till it if you want to. That's faster, I guess. However, if you do till it, you'll be sacrificing a little bit of what I really like about leaving the native plants. Previously, I pointed out some of the plants that are down there. I did look up the little blue one. I liked it so much. I think it's done now, which is kind of sad. I liked it. But the blue one was called Speedwell. And the dead nettle is obviously down there. There's another little one. I think it's henbit. That's purple. The white one, I didn't look up yet. I will. It's very pretty. Sun. That's warm. It's chilly. So if you are leaving your native plants and your turf in between your rows like I am, you won't have to put down mulch, which can be treated with chemicals. It may not break down. Some of it is dyed, so you should be a little cautious about when you're picking your mulch. And some people do like to mulch with hay or straw. I can never remember which one doesn't have seeds. One of them does. Both you and I will need to look that up. Straw and hay are not the same thing. If you're using that to mulch, in theory, there's nothing wrong with it. It is biodegradable. However, not everyone grows it the same way. Just because it is a plant does not mean it's organic. Both straw and hay can be and are sprayed with things that may not be what you want in your garden or on your farm. So what I was doing at first was pulling up grass and cutting it with the hori knife and just popping it on top of the soil, which you can see here behind me. Oh, this whole area right here. And the grass is going to just decompose in place so that it will act as mulch and be gradually brought down into the soil to decompose there. And that's a way of building soil, using mulch, using torn up cardboard like I was doing for the worms. Torn up cardboard is great because as the rain falls and all of the little microorganisms in the soil and the worms and the bugs and even maggots, all this, they start eating. Once they start eating and breaking things down, those nutrients and those excrements and things are brought down by the rain, and when you water your plants, they're brought down into the soil, making them available for the roots of your plants. And then the worms come up when it rains because they don't want to be in the wetness, I guess. They come up when it rains, and when they go back down, they do mix a little bit, and then as like their daily life, they're just going along, munching away at the soil. They are mixing things up. So everything works together. So when you think about using store-bought mulch or hay or straw, whatever it is that you wanted to mulch with, it is going to break down and it is going to leave some things behind that may not be your favorite. So when you're choosing what to leave in between your rows, you don't have to put anything. You could leave it naked, but that bare soil is going to lose moisture when the sun comes out, especially in midsummer when it starts raining a lot, or when it stops raining a lot and it starts being hot. The water is going to evaporate, but mulch does help keep the moisture at soil level and help keep the soil temperature a little bit cooler, so it's not scorching and losing all the water. That's a very good thing. I guess the other thing I wanted to touch on is some people do use plastic in between their rows or on top of their rows as mulch. That's also a personal choice. It's not my choice. I don't want to use any more plastic than I have to. Kind of strange to think about, but agriculture uses a lot of single-use plastic, and I don't really want to do that. So in leaving all the native plants down here in between my little rows, like this one right here, this whole rectangle is all native plants and turf. It doesn't look as neat and tidy as if you were to just till everything, but it doesn't have to. No one has to do anything in gardening or farming, whatever you consider yourself to be. So if anyone tells you that it's wrong, when I talk to people about the methods that I use, I quite often get quite a look. It looks something like, okay, all right, well, it may not be your method, but it's my method. So I like to work with nature instead of doing tremendous amounts of hard labor. And yeah, because who wants to be out here weeding all the time, right? So mulch helps suppress weeds, and it also is very very good for helping to maintain the moisture, but also in leaving the rows in between. When it does rain, my shoes don't get muddy, right? So the weeds aren't growing as much. I do mow the aisles with a push mower. That's going to happen. But overall, when you think about it, I'm building soil health, helping the pollinators by leaving all their yummy little native treats. And even though the speedwell is gone now, the bees were really loving it, and that was nice to see. That they can come to open fields like this one and find something to eat earlier in the season. So as the season goes on and the clover starts blooming, the pollinators are coming to my plot for sure. They're gonna come visit because all the yummy flowers are here, and I'm gonna be planting some other flowers too that pollinators like, so they'll pay me a visit for sure. But some of these other patches that are kind of, they're naked, they have plastic rows, plastic covers, and just well-spaced plants. Not much interplanting going along. And if that's your preferred method and you want everything to be neat and tidy in rows with no other plants around, that's definitely a choice. And it's not particularly my choice, so there's no right or wrong. It's just not the way that I'm choosing to do things. So you can the moment where I'm serving realness. I forgot what I was talking about. There's no right or wrong in farming. You can do it whichever way you choose to. Tilling the entire field is the most popular. Working with nature, I find that it's easier. It's less labor throughout the season, but you don't have to do it, of course. I will be posting other videos about companion plants and what to plant for pollinators, things like that. Just taking a look around. I think all of the speedwell is done now. I forgot to look at what the leaves look like. I think it's this. I think it's this down here. So I'm gonna seed save because I like it. I think it's cute. Then here, down here, I'm sure everyone knows what this one is. This is clover. But this one over here, it's still clover, but it's a different kind of clover. This one is red clover. So red clover just grows a little bit differently. It's taller, it's got variegated leaves. I don't really know what variety this one is yet, but I like it. Those will grow little flowers for the pollinators too. So I'm gonna go ahead and do some work, and I'll try to take some videos step by step in what I'm doing. But it's cold. My fingers are cold. I'm gonna try and like find some gloves. Okay, back in a flash.